All right.
Okay, we'll see. If it's not good, someone always cuts the beginning and the end.
All right.
Okay. Oh, you have paper and pencil.
I have a paper and pen.
Okay. Hi,
Rachel. Hi. It's nice to meet you.
You have some questions to ask.
I have some questions to ask you because I'm looking to get into the field of psychotherapy, and I wanted to know more about your experiences.
Yeah, the arms are broken.
Okay. We'll cut that out. So I wanted to ask you a question. We'll start with the first one. How did you know psychotherapy was the right career for you, and what made you decide on it?
So I think I should have been a psychotherapist before I became a teacher, but I didn't know that this field was open to me. No one pushed me in this direction when I was leaving high school. Everyone pushed me to be early childhood education and teacher, so I wish I would have known this. I love giving advice, solving people's problems, and interacting with stories. I love stories. So even as a teacher, I'd go into everyone's classroom. All I wanted to do was know their stories more than I wanted to actually teach academics. So I think that's what, I'm a fixer, a helper. I like that stuff. I knew I wanted to do that. So I went back to school for it. I'm so lucky.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's hard to find. There's not a lot of programs for psychotherapy.
Yeah, there's the Yorkville one, and then
there's one in Niagara University,
mm-hmm.
which is supposed to be pretty good. Yeah.
So I've been debating between psychotherapy and art therapy, and it's a little bit difficult because there's some masters in art therapy, and they're like 4 years long, and then afterwards you can do the examination to be a psychotherapist when you're done. Yeah, so that's why I'm. Do you know any art therapists?
Any art therapists?
Have you worked with any of them?
Well, yes, but not directly. I know that I have clients who've gone to them and family people I know who've gone to art therapists. I don't know if it's. Do you need an art therapy degree if you are an artist and you're a psychotherapist? Can you take courses after? Like I think I would do a master's of psychotherapy or counseling and then add on art courses after. So you have the foundation for the psychology part and you are an artist and you know what art has done for you in your life. So I think other courses or even after. I wonder with one master's, will the art therapy be less?
It technically wouldn't be qualified. It's strange. You can't call yourself an art therapist if you don't do a master's. You can call yourself like a creative wellness specialist, or
you can be a therapist and have art therapy as your modality. And not call yourself an art therapist. Do you want 4 years of school to study art and therapy?
Probably not.
That's a lot.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Like 4 years is a long time. I don't mean to be insulting to art therapists, that's not, but what does 4 years of that kind of course give you that you need in your practice? Right? Like,
that's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been speaking to a lot of art therapists lately to see what it's like. It's just learning how to use art in the therapy room.
And what degrees do they have?
They have a master's in art therapy. But you could also just do psychotherapy and say you specialize in creative wellness, or, and it's the same thing.
Inner child through art.
Yeah.
Focusing with art, anything. You can add art into any modality you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Unless you really want to learn about how art goes that deep into psychotherapy.
In 2.5 years, I'm willing.
Yeah, not 4.
More? Yeah.
You have a bachelor's already? Okay. So any master should be 1 or 2 years. 4 years is a lot for anything.
Yours was 2.5. No, Yorkville is 2.5. Unless you fast track.
No, I didn't. I went through Transformational Arts College. I went to a private college here in Toronto that's no longer in service.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That was a year or 2?
It was 2.5 years part-time.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was nights and weekends.
That's amazing. And you were teaching at the time?
Yeah.
Where did you teach? In the school boards?
Yeah, York Region District School Board. Yeah.
Did you like it? I feel like it's changed a lot.
I don't like teaching because you need to teach by a set of rules that I don't believe in. I don't believe that kids are coming to the classroom ready to interact with information because their emotions are way out of whack, right? Like, our home lives are not as stable. Kids are learning way too much and not learning enough. Parents are so much busier and have their own mental needs. Raising kids is hard. I just don't think that home to school is a good transition, and school's not doing a good enough job of meeting their emotional needs. Not enough mental wellness in schools.
Yeah,
and teachers, like, are teachers even ready or
wanting?
They have to meet so many needs in a classroom with very minimal support. Like, who's supporting them? One principal and half a VP in a school, right? The other teachers? Well, if you have a leader of, like if one of the teachers is a lead and she's not doing well, and everyone else falls apart, there's not enough support, scaffolding, right? So.
Yeah. That's difficult.
And I was told not to do certain things with kids. Like, if I wanted to, you're not allowed to tell parents that their kids need support or help or identify, like, go get tested for ADHD. Like, you're not supposed to tell your parents that kind of stuff. You're not allowed to give referrals to people you know are good at things that will help their kids.
That's really unfortunate because right now, through the pandemic, kids have suffered a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the school boards should be there to refer the kids to specialists like you.
Right. But you can't, because then you're biased. And if you refer to someone and it doesn't go well, you can be blamed. Right?
You can blame people forever.
Again, but isn't that the system? They make rules so that you don't blame people. But when you can't do things because you don't want people to get blamed, you end up doing nothing.
And then it doesn't make you feel that great, right? Like
I never felt. No, I came home every day feeling horrible. I just felt unfulfilled, like I was not doing anything, like I was just part of a problem. Yeah, it was horrible.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it really was.
I'm glad you got out of it.
Me too. It was really hard. Right? It's hard to give up a job with benefits and a pension and a really good salary for, like, every day not knowing who your clients are going to be, how much money you're going to make, who comes back. Selling yourself is hard.
Do you have a sliding scale?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you're not sure, like, how much money you'll be making on a day-to-day basis.
Well, even, like, I have one client today, right? Tomorrow I have 6, right? Like, Wednesday maybe 3, Thursday 4, Friday right now 9, right? So that's not a really good week if you need to make a certain amount of money every week. So then how do you get more clients? Like, what's your plan? How do you do it? Where do you put your money to get clients? It's word of mouth, but a lot of my clients don't know anyone. So who are they referring me to? Or they don't tell anyone they see a therapist. So again, who are they referring you to?
They don't know anyone.
Like, some of my clients have no friends. Like, they're single women with no friends. Right? They're not going to tell their colleagues at work, oh my God, I'm seeing this great therapist, you should go too. People don't talk about that yet.
That's difficult.
Yeah. So that's one age group, right? If I access the younger age group, like the 20s, which seems to be a niche for me because I understand adults, and I understand where adults are failing our youth, right? Where they don't trust you and give you enough credit for the things you do, and that world's pretty hard for you guys, right? It's hard to make money and afford this life.
Especially in Toronto.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? Like, how old are you?
24.
24. Like, I had a mortgage, a minivan. I was married at 24. I had a house, right? Like,
inflation.
Right. But isn't that crazy? Like, it wasn't a thought process. Like, you just did that stuff. I had a job, I finished school, Like, it's just not the same anymore.
No, it's not at all.
So you have to work even harder.
Yeah.
You know, you did your what did you do your BA in?
Recreation therapy.
Right. So what kind of salary does that come with?
Anything from like 30,000 to like 75,000, depending on where you work, because you can work in a hospital.
So 75 is good.
It is good, yeah.
30,
yeah,
not enough.
You'll probably start there.
Yeah.
And it's a tough job.
Yeah?
Yeah, usually you end up working in geriatric homes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, my friend is actually working in the one that's across from the the Schwartz Reisman Center.
The Viva.
Yeah, she works there.
Cool.
Yeah, she just got that job. She has her PhD in kinesiology. Yeah.
That's what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be really smart with the job you pick. You have to kind of know what you want to do. Like, do you want to see clients every day? Do you want to work in a group setting? Like, what do you imagine yourself doing?
That's an interesting question. I think I get a lot out of building relationships and listening to people, and like it's very humbling to know people's stories.
But how do you want to receive the stories? Do you want to sit one-on-one like this? Could you spend your day like this? That's you as a therapist right there. You would be listening to my story for an hour. And you put it away and the next one would come. Could you spend your day like this?
I could see myself spending my day like this, but I also see this other side of me.
Okay.
Working in like an art studio.
Yeah.
And having my own art studio and having people come in there and like de-stress.
De-stress, yeah.
Yeah, de-stress there and like.
Okay, so would you have drop-in art? Would you have art classes? Like, what do you hope, like, anyone who signs up for art classes is going to come in, right? You can probably make a living with 10 people at their easel doing different classes. Are you going to be the leader? Are you going to be teaching them? Or could you do it as drop-in art, like art conversation or paint night with therapy? Like that kind of stuff. How are you going to do the two together to make money?
I guess art therapy. I think that's like a good medium.
And what age group do you like?
I like working with kids and youth.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, from my understanding. It's weird because I also worked with stroke patients and I really liked that.
Okay. Like that's a big niche. But if you had a specific program for stroke patients, people would refer to you, right? You build up a database of all the people who deal with stroke patients, and then they use you, they refer to you. You just have to build up your program to be really good. Do you like building programs?
Sometimes.
Right?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, these are all the things I'm going through, right? Like, it's really hard. I'm not a good program builder. Like, I don't like the PowerPoints.
Mm-hmm.
I like presenting, but I like presenting from my brain, not from a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I don't want to do teaching groups. I like conversation groups. Give me a topic, I can talk about anything. Like, I'm open about anything. I have an experience with almost all things out there that I can have a perception that you probably don't have. That's my gift. So I need to find the best way to use that.
That's a really great gift.
It is.
Yeah.
Again, trying to find how to make money, right? Because I'd be great at groups. Like I could take you, Paula, and Sarah, 3 people who don't really know each other, and start a conversation about relationships where all 3 of you would feel comfortable opening up. So I just need to get people here to do those kind of groups. So people have to trust me to want to come here. So where do I start with that? Right? Do I start with an open house? Do I do free groups? Do I get my clients? Like, there's so many different ways. I don't know.
It depends, because if you get your own clients, it could change the pay rates for you. Because it's group, it might be lower, right?
No, it's actually, you make more money with group.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And then also, will they be willing to come in also individually if they're already in group? Then do you lose a time slot? Also with COVID, how do you have an open house? Like, who's comfortable, who's not?
Right. Well, that's changing now.
Yeah, it is changing
Right.
now.
And I have the outdoor space, and that's what I want to build for September, right?
Yeah.
I want, like, drop-in, where come and here's the topic for the night if you want to come talk about it. Right? Have a beer, play a game, have a conversation.
It's like a restaurant.
It's a talking restaurant.
It's a talking restaurant.
Emotional dinner, an emotional dinner date.
I like that. I think there's such a problem with people not talking about their emotions, and I mean, I feel like that's part of why you went in the field, because you saw all these kids suffer.
Well, I worked a lot with teenagers with deafness and other disabilities, and people don't listen to them. Nobody gives them the time of day. They make decisions for them. And even I saw too, like Emily and Ethan, people would make decisions for them all the time in school, and I would always come back and say, were you guys part of that decision? Did anyone ask you? They're like, no. So I go to the school, I'm like, why wouldn't you ask the kids? Well, they don't know what they want. I'm like, how do you know that? Did you ask them? Just because they're slower than the other kids doesn't mean they don't know what they want. So giving people voices and even a path. If you're 18 and you don't like school, what are you gonna do? Because you can't just get a job anymore, right? You need a college diploma or a certificate in something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to go to school, volunteer somewhere, or do like your fitness instructor, or do a bartending course, right? Or do a 14-week anything on like any of those Corsica or any of those course things.
Mm-hmm.
Do something. Start to learn. At least you know where your brain is going and what you're good at outside of a system that has been teaching you one way. You don't know how to learn.
Yeah.
So
It's unnatural to put kids in like just a room and sit there for 8 hours.
it's ridiculous when you think about it now in this world.
Makes no sense.
Right. When that was the only place to learn, it worked. We didn't have the internet. So you had to go to school to learn because no one else had that information.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those kids know way more than we know. So we're sitting there telling them, in high school, you make them take math and French and all these courses that nobody wants to take. If your brain doesn't do it, your brain doesn't do it. So you spend a whole semester feeling stupid because you're not good at math. If you're not good at math, you're never going to go into math.
Yeah, you should be focused on what you're good at.
Right. You should not be forced for 3 years to do courses that you hate, where your parents have to struggle to get a tutor, where you feel terrible, you get anxious. It's ridiculous, right? And in the world, we're starting to teach people you don't have to do things you don't like all the time. Use your voice. Learn who you are. Self-regulate. So back to, do you want to spend your day moving around with kids? Do you want to work in one place? Do you want to go visit? You can work in different clinics, right? You can work in 5 different clinics 1 day a week, and they just book you for the week. You don't have to do the work.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, right? Like I work at the Womb on Tuesdays, so they book me in, and I'm on their coattails, right, of marketing. And I like it because it's a multidisciplinary team, so there's lots of really good professionals there. I like all the learning that comes with it. I like the support. And I like that 1 day a week I know that I'm getting paid from someone else.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a little bit of security.
Yeah. Right. I think they give you like, they take 25 or 30% of whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Right? But you can do that for a year or 2. You know, you build your repertoire, you see what you like, you see what kind of clients you like. Like there are clients now I won't take that just don't work for me.
Because of their mental health, like
their stories. The questions they ask me on the phone, I know I'm never going to match with them the way they feel. So I don't want them to have a bad experience, and I don't want to sit across from someone and not enjoy a session. I can't do that. Not for the money. It's not worth it.
Money comes and goes.
Yeah, you have to be happy in that hour, right? And it's not fair to another client. It's not fair to a client if you are not enjoying them, right? You wouldn't go back to a doctor that wasn't nice to you.
It's hard to find out the doctor.
Not hard to find another therapist.
That's true.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. These are some really good points you're getting at. I'm not gonna lie, I wrote down like 18 questions to ask you and narrowed it down to 8. I'm gonna probably narrow it down to 3.
Keep asking. Let's see if we can get them all in together.
We'll see. Did I ask you this? I think I sort of already touched base on this. Was it difficult to get clients when you first started, and how did you manage? Were you trying while you were doing your master's?
So you had to, for part of my program, you had to do 100 free hours. So you had to do 10 clients for 10 sessions. And then 2 clients for an extra 10 sessions. So I had to find clients who wanted free therapy. So I put an ad on Facebook, and I got 10 clients, and I did 100 free hours. And then luckily some of those stayed, and some of those referred me, and I hustled. Really. Put myself out there. I got Google Ads. I put myself on Psychology Today. I reached out to other psychotherapists and saw what they were doing. It was hard. Yeah. Still hard. Yeah. Sometimes you get good clients. Sometimes you get none. Yeah, you never know.
Do you ever write articles on positive, was it Psychology Today?
I should. I love writing, and I really should be doing writing, because yes, that's a really good way for people to know who you are, but I don't have the headspace to write now, and my hands are in too many things, right? So I've been making lots of videos about what my day looks like and how my day goes. So I'm trying to see if I can use those videos instead of articles.
100%.
Right? So I'm trying to do more of a focus on things like that. I just don't have time to write. I would love to. I used to love writing.
I think videos are where it's at right now with social media, and people, don't really feel like reading a lot of the time. They're always looking at a screen.
Yeah.
So
I think it's hard to read on screens, because by the time you read your emails from work, you read at least one of the 2 things that were sent to you that you want to look into, and your eyes are tired, right? And you're going to watch TV that night, so the last thing you want to do is read an article. So yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it's hard to get. A lot of my peers have worked in clinics for a year, are working in clinics for a year or 2, until they feel comfortable. Yeah, until their own practice. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it's
it's
amazing
hard.
that you're hustling so hard.
Yeah.
What do I have now? Do you feel like you chose a specialty at this point, and how did you know it was your specialty?
So I'm actually in the middle of choosing my specialty, I think, because the one-to-one for me is not as fulfilling as I know I want to be. I enjoy every person that comes in front of me, but I think that what I'm learning my gift is much bigger. So like this mother and daughter who are coming next week, people are at home with anxiety. How do you get out? How do you get back into the world? How do you do it without a bridge, right? Like there has to be somewhere where you can practice being safe and feeling good before you go back out in the world. Like imagine you're at home for a year and a half and then you go to a mall.
I'll get a panic attack.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm anxious. Everything I do the first time these days, I'm anxious. But I have the tools in my head. Okay, you're anxious because you followed the rules. The rules are changing. You know there's still a risk. You know, I believe in this. Other people believe in that. So you kind of play through that. But if you're a kid and you don't have those tools, how do you go back out there? How do you go to school in September and feel good and make friends?
Very difficult. A lot of these kids don't talk
Right.
anymore. They're
Right.
scared to talk to their friends, to their family,
Yeah.
or they'll be like mute for 10 minutes and then they'll open up. It's very sad.
Yeah. I think it's a real dilemma out there. There's so many challenges. So I think having a space here where people can come and feel safe and talk to others. So I had 2 of my clients who don't have a lot of girlfriends spend the afternoon here at the pool with my girlfriends. So there was 8 of us in total. So 6 of us and 2 of them. And they fit in all afternoon. They had amazing conversations. And the feedback after was, wow, it's so much easier to talk to people than I thought. Nobody made fun of me. I felt good the whole time. I was able to share. Where would they have had that opportunity to
Nowhere.
feel that way?
That's very dynamic. No
Right?
other therapist would do that. No,
Right.
because what we're missing is community, and we don't have that during COVID.
And how do you make community if you don't have it? How do you make it? Where do you go?
You go to your neighbors, but like, who said they want to talk to you?
Are you gonna knock on, like, I lived in a condo for years. I never knocked on anyone's door and said, hey, do you want to talk? And I'm outgoing.
I think it's about the culture as well, like the Toronto culture.
I think it's just people, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard to meet people. It's hard to take a risk to think that someone's gonna like you. A lot of people don't think other people like them or that they have anything to bring to the table. So when someone shows up and I'm like, oh my God, you're fun, you're funny. They're like, I am? Yeah, bring that out more. And they do. And all of a sudden they're back to themselves.
It's like a switch.
You need that exposure. So my niche seems to be exposure therapy. When you come here, you can feel safe to move through things, right? There was someone else here who has disordered eating. So every day we had breakfast and lunch and everyone talked about the choices they were making and what they were eating. So she made good choices too.
That's amazing.
So she started to realize, oh, I can eat that and feel full. Oh, I can put all that together. If I set it up this way in the fridge, I'll pull it out and that's what I'll eat. So she was here for 3 months working and she ended up eating really well, and had a conversation with her today and she said, I didn't have a good plan when I left here and I messed up for the whole week. I can't wait to get back. Like, I need to learn a plan for me to bring home. Right? So how do you learn to eat better and prep for yourself and make better choices if no one is there to support you and help you? You can't do those things alone. It's impossible. I don't know anyone who can. Like, I'm a changer. I like change. I like new routines. I'm pretty solid in my routines and I struggle. So if I struggle, for sure everyone else is. So I hope that evolves into what it is. I have a family with autism coming on Saturday morning, a 9-year-old boy who also doesn't know how to behave in a group of other people. So they're going to be here Saturday morning, and again, he's going to move around, and I'm going to model for him how to behave when he's not with his family. Because how much socializing does he do without his family?
Probably not much.
Right.
That's amazing. You're changing lives.
Ah, thanks. I hope so.
No, you are.
Yeah, just outside the box, right?
Yeah, and I think that's so important because most people don't think outside the box with these kind of things. They think, okay, I'll sit here, you sit here, and that's the way it is. But there's so much more, dynamic things you could do, and you're doing them, which is incredible.
I hope so. I hope it's going to work. Again, back in the box with school, right? I could never do these things. And this is the stuff that I saw would make a difference for kids. Like, if their parents came together and set up their home for their child's energy level and Imagine if you're a kid with ADHD and your parents actually set you up with all the stations for you not to lose things and forget things from an early start. Right? My parents are always like, I can't believe you forgot that. Why can't you use your head on straight? You should be more organized. Like,
Is the house organized?
I'm 48 years old. I can't do those things. So how do you expect a 6-year-old to do that in your space that you set up for you? Not for them, right? Step back. Imagine your parents like, I'm not going to organize my whole house for my kid. Okay. Then your kid's going to constantly have struggles. You're going to get mad at them and you guys are going to fight. So let's put all our energy into that instead of stepping back and helping your child feel good.
That's way too much energy wasted, and probably wastes more time and energy and can ruin a family.
Right.
It makes more sense to just, sit down with the kid on one Saturday and let's organize your room how you want it.
Right. But parents don't do that.
Because it's not something you think about until you bring it up. Like, I didn't even think about this until you said it.
Like, Ethan hated hanging up his clothes or folding his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
He just hated it. So he was never going to fold his clothes. Ever. So I bought, those, like, Billy shelves, the IKEA one out there, under there. Like the cubbies.
Yeah.
So I bought one of those for Ethan's room, and they had baskets, and each basket was his stuff, his t-shirts. They were never folded. They were just thrown in there. But he was happy with that. He didn't care. So I made a system for him to put his stuff away, and it was all labeled. T-shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, shorts, underwear, socks. He didn't have to think, right? He didn't have to remember where anything was. When he had to put his laundry away, everything was labeled. It's just easy. He's like 23. He still has the same system, right? He's just not a folder. So do what's right for him, right? That's it. I hate folding my clothes.
Yeah, you can just hang them, to be honest.
I love to hang my clothes.
Much easier.
Yeah. I also like big piles of clothes. I have a big pile of clothes I put away once a week. Yeah. I just have a chair I hang them all on so they're not on the floor. Right? It's never going to change. So, yeah. So I hope to do that kind of stuff. I really want to do that.
I want to be a stylist.
A stylist. A stylist for families. Yeah.
Family stylist.
Family stylist. Let me style your family into organization. That works.
People do that. There's like a TLC. No, not TLC. There's a Netflix show about that.
About organization?
Yeah, but like in closets, and like there's these 2 women that.
Oh yeah, there's lots of shows like that.
Yeah, they did it like what's her name? The one from Legally Blonde. What's her name?
Oh, Drew Barrymore?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Alicia.
They did her closet. They did her
Yeah.
closet. I was like, wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Well, I do people's playrooms and their toy rooms and stuff.
That's
like,
really important because those kids need to learn how to be organized at a young age, and I've seen playrooms and it's like kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, and how do you clean it up? And think about how overwhelming it is for a kid to go into like a toy room that's a mess.
Yeah.
You just end up playing in chaos. You don't build and use your imagination. You throw your toys.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So,
Yeah.
You don't always see those things when you're in the middle of it. So.
No.
Next question.
Next question. I like this. It's so much fun.
Yeah, me too.
This is actually going back to the other question. Let me know if you want to skip it because it's similar to the other one, but it's, do you ever work with children with anxiety, and what is it like?
Yeah, I have a lot of kids with anxiety, and they are just nervous about things because the thoughts that go through their head are stronger than logic. So we're just working on like what they need to feel good, and a lot of that comes with being transitions, right? Like how to get from A to B. When you need to get to the car, how much time do you need before you leave the house till you get to the car? Some people need 3 minutes, some people need 20. So knowing that kind of stuff. Anxiety when you enter a classroom. Do you know what's happening throughout the day? Do you have the schedule? Does the teacher follow the schedule? Do your parents tell you? Think about parents. Okay, we're going to our friend's house. Let's go. Everyone get dressed. What do I need to wear? How long are we going to be there? What if I'm bored? What if I don't want to talk to the people? It used to be where kids would just follow their parents to their friend's house and not ask those questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the world anymore.
No.
So you can't expect kids to follow that old pattern of what you wanted, because that's not how kids work anymore. They're allowed to ask questions. They have their own emotions and their own feelings. They have technology.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if you're going to someone's house for dinner, big family dinner, and your kid's anxious, and you say to them, okay, when we get there, we need to spend 15 minutes with everyone else. Find a small corner where you can stand and let people come to you. After 15 minutes, you can go into my purse and take your technology and go find yourself a quiet space. Put a timer on for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes of technology, come back in for 15, find me. I'd like you to try again, right? Because we want to build up your capacity to be with people. And your kid knows that they can leave and come back in a safe way, that they're not forced to have to socialize with family members that aren't nice to them, or bitchy people that aren't right. So transitions, and your kids knowing what's going to go on and what your expectation is of them. You know, when a child is not feeling good, respecting. Like, yes, some kids fake it and lie. Of course they do. But a lot of kids are telling the truth. When they have a stomachache, that stomachache is real. It might not be a real reason, but to them it's real. So help them figure out what it is and what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't want to go. I get that. But we need to go. So when we get there, how much time can you spend and how much time do you need? What could make you happy when you're there? What could I do if you feel like this? What are you going to do? If you talk about all the strategies, isn't that nice? Like when you go to a concert with someone, or you go to a mall. You go to a mall with someone and you want to go to one store and they want to go to another store. Do you make a plan? Right? Well, you do. You go to this store, I'll meet you here, you have your phone, I'll text you when I'm done. Right? You don't just
go together, yeah.
Okay, but if you don't go together, you make a plan. We'll meet here at this table at this time. Kids need that, right? They need to have the plan in front of them so they know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Again, parents are busy. They have lots on their mind. They're trying to do everything, take their kids everywhere, be great at everything. So you're just like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes kids anxious.
Yeah, and I think that if you think about stay-at-home moms, how it used to have like a bad rep, it's kind of a little ridiculous because it's such an honorable job that you're actually taking the time to be with your kids.
Yeah.
You're watching them grow up, you're teaching them what they need to learn, what'll stay with them forever.
Yeah, if you did a good job.
If you did a good job.
You did a good job,
Yeah.
right? If you did a good job and you put that effort in, your kid got a lot more attention to details than other kids might have, but you never know. Lots of kids learn things in daycare. There's a lot of shitty moms out there that are they stay home because they can't work, because their anxiety or mental wellness is not stable, and they bring that to the kids' life.
Yeah.
Right? I was out with someone the other night who I did not know, but she was explaining how her mom was depressed and abusive her whole life. And I can't imagine. Like, I didn't realize that's how she grew up. Because now you look at all her behaviors and how she parents, and you could see what she did to be better. But she went far to one, continuum, where her daughter is now complaining about the things she's doing because her mom didn't, right? Like, her mom was an oversharer, so she's an undersharer. And her daughter wants her to share, right? So you can't win anyways.
Yeah.
As a parent, you're going to mess something up. Your kids are going to be mad at you at something. So at least just accept it.
I'll keep that advice for later. Thanks. Next question.
I do work with kids. Kids with ADHD, anxiety, autism.
That's great. 'Cause I was thinking about like that sort of population myself. That's a whole different thing though. Do you have to get a license to be a child therapist, or it's just
Get to be anything you want. If people are going to trust you with their kids, what do you have that makes them trust you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you have lots of experience.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, you have to kind of decide. kids are hard too. You work a lot harder, right, with kids. And I think being gentle with their souls takes a lot more energy.
I feel like it does, but it doesn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah. If you are, if you enjoy it, it's a blessing. If your heart is too empathic, it's dangerous.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted. One of the other questions I wanted to ask you. Where is it?
What do you do with the stories, and how do you?
Yeah, how do you keep work at work with all the difficulties that people face, and how do you take care of yourself so that you don't reach burnout and that you don't take these things in?
Yeah, so there's something called SEUS, Safe and Effective Use of Self. SEUS. And that's really important, because if you are no good, then you're not going to be good for your clients. So there's a few really important things. Is I clear the space between clients, so I'll light a candle, or I'll light the sage, or I'll just pick up card, just to change the energy up.
Okay.
I also take a few minutes in between to breathe and kind of unpack someone's story. You know, like I take it out of my head and put it like in a mental compartment.
And do you ever put it on paper? Like,
Well, I take notes.
I
take notes. I don't take a lot of notes because I really find it's hard to take notes and be part of the story. I write notes after, just about what we talked about. And I do a lot of meditation. I find it really important to meditate. And I take a lot of time for my own hobbies so that I do a lot of movement so that my energy flows, and chakra balancing so that I am always feeling good in myself, so I'm not triggered, right? So when I was breaking up in February, don't you think I got like 4 clients breaking up? Like everything that you go through ends up in the chair across from you.
Wow.
So, you know, you have to see yourself in all these mirrors and learn not to allow it to shift you, that you stay in this place of neutral. But for me, that's like logic. I don't let it affect me now. You can kind of like put on a barrier, a white light, depends how you look at it. But I know that breakup hurts. It hurts you, it hurts me, it just hurts. I might be able to process it one way, you can process it another way. But both of us have the same feeling of hurt in our hearts, right? It doesn't matter if your breakup was devastatingly sad and mine was angry, or yours was 10 years and mine was 4 months. Breakup feels like breakup in your heart. So that's where you can identify with someone, and then you work through what they need to feel better about their breakup. And then you learn about yourself. You're like, wow, oh my God, she's really in it for a long time. Oh my God, so am I. Do I really sound like that to someone else? Wow, I didn't realize that I still felt so strongly about something, but when I heard her explain it, I realized that. So, you know, if you can take those things in and look at them without no berating yourself, no shame, no putting yourself down, right? When you're a therapist, everything that goes against, that comes at you, you can't take personally or even interact with at that level.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and it's important also, I have my own therapist that I check in with once a month for sure. And if something is bothering with me, I also have a supervisor. So I check in, I have a supervisor, yeah, who I also see like once a week, because you need a whole bunch of hours to get qualified.
But you're already qualified, right? Or qualifying still?
I'm still qualified.
Supervisor.
Yeah, I needed 450 client hours, which I have,
Wow.
and 150 supervisor hours, which
Okay.
I'm just about at.
Okay.
So, and it's good because then you have a supervisor who's, you bounce things off of, you know, like, I'm not sure if this was the right thing that I said. I'm not sure, you know, do you have a better idea? I got stuck here. I felt really bad for the client. I didn't know what to do with it. You know? And I'll say to my clients, like, I'm really sad. Like, I'm sad that you're going through that. It really hurts me. Like, I feel what you feel. And some like it, some don't. So, yeah. Time, you're good for time?
I want to say that this is going to go off and I don't want it to be on the video.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. Whew, okay.
We'll just cut it off. Yeah, we can just cut it out. Tell me when you want to stop.
I have like 5 more minutes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Are you good with 5 more minutes?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you also okay to do this again?
Yeah, anytime.
Cool. Thanks. What advice would you give someone looking to start their master's in psychotherapy?
Have done your own therapy for sure. Definitely, if you're going to be a therapist, do your own therapy. Even go test out a couple of different therapists. Not sure you have to go deep into things, but go try a few therapists to see what different ones feel like for you.
That's interesting. I was asking a life coach what she would suggest before going to life coaching because I was curious. She said to get a life coach, to try different life coaches to see which one works for you.
Well, yeah, it's nice to see before you are in a career, see what it feels like to do the career. Right. Think about the skills you need to use in a day. It is very hard to talk about myself as a therapist with humble bragging and reality, like that whole place. I know I'm good at what I do, but my friends aren't going to trust me as a therapist. They don't want to tell me their stories, right? You have to get your name out there, which is so hard to do. So you have to sell yourself. You have to feel good. Know where you feel good, right? And if you're going to do your master's, kind of have an idea of where you want to do your placements. Like, what's going to be important to you to do your placements. Do some research on clinics. You know, even on websites. Go on the different websites. Make some phone calls just to see what other therapists, how they answer the phone.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, I think that with art therapy, do you have an idea of how you would use art? Like, I read a book to my client yesterday. Let me see if I can just get it. All sent. It's called The Little Soul in the Sun. And so I showed her these pictures, right? Like, I read the book and I showed her the pictures, and she was writing she was drawing as I was talking. Because she has, her mom tried to abduct her, and it's not good. So she's 8 years old, and she's, dealing with her mom being so negative. And how do you express that, right? It's really hard to talk about it.
That's why play therapy is important.
Right. So she's a really good artist. So I said, get your sketch pad, and I'm going to read the book and just write the words and the feelings that come up. And this is all about be the light, right? And that people around you are going to make mistakes. If you stay the light, you'll attract other lights. And she loved that. And it made her feel so good because she's a really special soul to be able to get through something like that and be so positive. So pointing that out to her so how would you use art? Do you have an idea in your head how it really works? Come up with your philosophy, right? What do you believe art does for mental health? And why is it important that you bring that to people's lives?
That's so important.
Well, that might give you the basis of what you really want.
Mm-hmm. Sun's running up.
Mm.
So, what do you feel art does for mental health, and how would you deliver that to clients?
Yeah. Why does art, like, what does art bring?
Joy.
Okay, but lots of things bring joy.
Meditation.
Again, lots of things do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
what is special for you that art is going to do? So, think about it as if there's a kid with anger, could you access anger through art? Could you turn that around? If kids are getting divorced, could you do an art class for divorced kids with a theme? You know, kids with, you know, is your art going to be focused? Are you going to do groups, one-to-one? How many art lessons do you think it takes for, like, or art sessions, do you think it takes for someone to move through an experience, right? Like a kid who's getting bullied. Could you intuitively come up with something to do with a kid who's getting bullied? Like, can you access that logic already for things like that?
I could see how they could draw or paint something in relation to their own emotions, using like colors,
But you don't really,
shapes, but
not the philosophy of how to get through anger through art. Like, look at that kind of stuff on YouTube. Like, look at some YouTube videos, like Art Therapy 4, Which Emotion?
mm-hmm. That's what I think. That's why I'm like thinking like psychotherapy and art therapy, they can go together, but I think it really depends on what the client's needs are.
Everything depends on what the client's
Yeah,
needs are.
exactly. Some of them won't want to do art.
Well, then you won't get them,
Mm.
right? Then you're just going to be a regular psychotherapist. You're only going to do art psychotherapy.
I just think to do both. Like have
Okay.
an art specialty, and then if people want
Yeah.
to do that, then they have the
Right.
option.
So now you're selling two different parts of you to two different groups. It's a lot more work, right?
Mm.
Again, you can start off as a psychotherapist and add art pieces in. Yeah, I think you're more. If you just do the psychotherapy degree, you have more options to do other things.
In what way?
You could be any kind of therapist, right? If you're an art therapist, I don't know if you get the same information foundation as psychotherapy. You must. Okay.
I'll have to check with, I guess, the courses in each master's program.
Yeah.
And see what I find.
Like, there's a 1-year Master's of Counseling at Niagara.
It's pretty good in 1 year.
Yeah, might be 2, but I'm pretty sure it's 1 year. Yeah, I want to do it.
But I wouldn't be a psychotherapist after, I'd be a
Yeah.
counselor.
No, be a psychotherapist. You just have to take the CRPO exam.
Was that a difficult exam to take?
But you could do
Do you
it.
feel like you were ready for it after your master's?
It's not like that. The exam goes like this. Here's a scenario.
Okay.
You need to answer the scenario based on the knowledge you have. The scenario has pick the best, as many as you want, answers. Each answer is worth +3, +2, +1, 0, -1, -2, -3. If you pick the wrong answer, you can lose marks. It's ridiculous.
Kind of like nursing
But-
exams.
Yeah, you just have to learn, right? You just have to be smart at following the rules of jurisprudence. Jurisprudence. That is like the ethics. There's a lot of ethics, so you need to know all that. But I took 2 courses to take the exam.
Okay.
I did not go in blind.
Okay.
Can you see yourself spending your time doing anything else? Like, what other options do you have for careers that you had thought about over the last 3 years?
Art teacher, hairdresser, that died.
Good money, but okay.
That was during COVID.
True. Okay, art teacher. Do you really
Art
want to
teacher.
teach shitty kids art every day? No. You have to go get your teacher's degree.
Teaching is difficult because I remember it's so hard to
Yeah.
teach full time. First of all, second of all, I remember I would be teaching kids part time.
Yeah.
It was it was hard because, like, unless they wanted to be there, it wasn't good. You feed off of their energy, they feed off of yours. The kids, I remember before COVID started, I had the best class. All these kids really wanted to be there. They were like, "Oh, I look forward to
Where
art
were you
lessons
working?
I worked for this third-party company that went into schools at lunchtime, where I DSB schools.
Okay.
And it was just so great because these kids wanted to be there.
They signed up for it themselves on their lunch.
They asked their parents, "I want to do this at lunch."
Right, but I'm saying they chose to do it on their lunch, right?
Yeah.
Their parents weren't grabbing them, dragging them.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's over.
It's not like that anymore, especially with art lessons. Usually the type of people who go to art lessons are, you know, people who value arts. People who value art are not from Western culture. Usually they're from the East. And, you know, a lot of them are immigrants and they tell their kids to go. And
You don't want to
sometimes their
teach
kids-
art.
sometimes their kids don't want to be there.
No.
They don't.
No. So teaching art is not for you.
I like to teach art to people who want to learn it.
Okay, but you can always offer art lessons,
Yeah.
right? But that's not your passion.
Art is definitely my passion. Teaching,
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's-
Teaching art is not
yeah.
your passion. What do you love about art?
it's like you start painting or drawing and you're moved to another planet. Like you're not here anymore. And it's beautiful that you can think of something, you can imagine something, you can dream of something. You wake up and you're like, I want to draw this, I want to paint this. This thing in my head is bigger than me. And I created something that's bigger than me. And that's incredible. Don't you think so?
I'm not a creator like that, but I do that with people, right? I create people's stories. So yes.
It's bigger than you. It's not you, it's about them. And
Well, that's like I see you,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I know where you can go. Like I could see you in the next 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. And I mean, I could lead you to all those places that would make you successful. That's my creation in my head. Yeah, I can't put it on paper.
very cool.
But yeah, but I know so many people feel that way. But even how you said that is how you promote yourself, right? You put yourself on social media or on YouTube or TikTok with your creations and how you feel.
Yeah, I do.
And then people will be drawn to you. At the end of all those, you need to offer, right? You know, art for mental wellness. You want to figure out your mind, come draw with me. Need someone to talk to, need a friend, come draw with me. Like, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You could be that person. I'm drawing here on this day. Well, again, that's what I want to do here for you, right? I'm struggling to build any programs. I don't know who to market it to, right?
Yes.
Like I have great programs, but I'm putting it on Facebook with all my friends.
Do ad targeting.
I need to do ad targeting, and I need to put it in like the groups, the pink and blue groups and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like the kids groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the things like that's what we need to work on downstairs.
You should still make a pop-up on your website. That's helped my work a lot. I made a pop-up on the website, sign up for our employment program. Just click here, and we get sign-ups every day now. Because you probably get like hundreds of people on your website just on there every day, but you want
Right.
conversions.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff I don't know, right?
So, yeah, that's okay though.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying like that's the stuff that I need to build out now. Because now I have the programs, I have the space. COVID's almost over. So now I have to build the programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of, I can show you later when I have more time, and I could sit with Paula and show her what you use Wix? Use Wix?
Mm-hmm.
You can install plugins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do that. I can show Paula.
Yeah, next week.
Okay, cool.
We have to figure out where we're doing everything, right? I think I'm just going to have open houses here, maybe. Drop in. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know the best way. We're going to brainstorm that.
Well, it's kind of beautiful. You
Yeah.
have your own space. You get to figure it out. It's
Mm-hmm.
the best. The people who deal with stress the best are the ones who think positively about it.
Yeah, I don't have any stress.
Exactly.
I
Because
just
it's
believe.
good. It's good. It's like
Yeah.
you believe. You have this space. You believed you would get it. You got it. You believed you would run this. You believed you'd be a psychotherapist. You got it.
Yeah.
You believe things will work out.
Yeah. I don't stress about anything.
Because it's nothing is in anyone's hands.
Well, what am I going to stress? I'm going to worry about things?
What a waste of time.
Yeah, it
waste
is.
of energy.
It is. I'd rather think, okay, what do I need? How am I going to get there? I need money. That's it. I need money. There's no doubt.
Should I turn this off?
No, but to run this house, you need money. Think about it.
Yeah.
So how am I going to get money? I'm going to get money doing the thing I love. If I keep just doing it, it's going to bring me money.
Yeah.
It just is.
100%.
That's it. If I believe that. And if it doesn't, I have to rethink it next month. Right? That's it. So. You need to apply. Yes. Okay.
Yes, you need to.